Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to Dr. Destruction in the Abrams tank. So, here we have it, the OG Abrams, if I'm not mistaken, and I very well could be, especially since I've turned on cinematic mode now. A little bit of bumper touching there with the early spawn, as you do in American tanks, and Dr. Destruction makes his way across the fields of, what is this, Sinai? I want to say Sinai. Sinai, if you want to get super fancy with it, which does sound a bit more like the Hebrew upon which it's based. But I am no expert in Hebrew pronunciations. I'm sort of a Weebrew, I guess you could say. Can I coin that term? I kind of like it. I'm a huge fan of Israeli vehicles, Israeli military history. I'm interested in Israeli culture, and my god is Jewish, as I may have mentioned in another video, in a slightly different context, perhaps. Anyway, I will calm down a little bit, because I just woke up the baby doing my Dr. Destruction voice, which is too bad, because late last night I was sort of just fantasizing about bringing back the silliness that was Tank Cop in the form of a Dr. Destruction character, and maybe like a I don't know, just the straight guy, you know, the guy who's just like totally normal and level, but occasionally he says stuff like, well, I'm gonna pee in your canteen then. Anyway, Dr. Destruction, crossing the field of battle rapidly, moving through the lowlands, just like Sun Tzu told him to, getting a nice one-shot kill on some unidentified MBT as he fires on the move the way you do in an Abrams main battle tank. Checking the area for enemies, and this map especially, one where fast-moving, rapidly deadly enemy MBTs can be a serious issue. People talk about helicopters in top tier, but at 10.0, every NBT has laser-guided derp darts that are just waiting, that would like to know your location. These derp darts, these lawn darts, are ready to penetrate your tank and available in your area. Click the link. No, run away. So you can shoot right through these buildings, as Dr. Destruction shows. Got him. Another one-shot kill, taking down another target there. Or was that a two-shot kill? I do get so easily confused these days. In any event, the newborn, well, she's not a newborn, she's almost 6 months old now, is just looking at me wide-eyed. She was in a nice little milk nap, and I woke her up with my Dr. Destruction voice. Anyway, peeking through the buildings here, looking for a shot. Always convenient that you can fire directly through these walls, which is something that I continue to remind people of. Talked about helicopters, and we hear both a jet and a helicopter this early in the battle. Somebody's tryharding, and this is the place for it. A round passes through the wall, takes out the track, possibly dealing some engine damage or some such to Dr. Destruction, and yet he seems to be doing okay. Was that from a jet, an enemy helicopter, an enemy MBT? You know what? Even if this was live gameplay footage, I've had a hard time telling what's going on in these high tier matches, and that's one of the things that keeps me out of top tier. I'm just not that kind of player. Lately, I've been getting interested though, but I'm working on some other stuff right now. Speaking of, since I have you here, as Dr. Destruction scans the horizon, sees the periscope of what's probably an enemy KPZ-70, if I identify that correctly, or it could be the stupid hat on the Leclerc. I'm not quite sure. At this battle rating, you would expect, as a first spawn, for it to be a Leclerc. So, there, a nice side view of a dead tank. And once again, we see that issue. It's difficult to tell if a tank is dead or not if you haven't shot it lately. I would like to see at least a mild smoking effect on destroyed vehicles. You see a permanent smoking in certain bomb craters, so it's definitely possible to have that effect active for destroyed vehicles, and that would certainly help, because I certainly have a difficult time, especially at longer ranges, identifying whether or not an enemy vehicle is destroyed. I hate to waste a shot on a tank that's already been taken down. Nice hit into the rear section of what looks like, yes indeed, a Soviet MBT. Second one into the crew compartment, which means also into the ammunition carousel, causing it to explode beautifully. Dr. Destruction, living up to his name, showing us some nice top-tier American gameplay in a nice top-tier American tank. The Abrams, not the most competitive vehicle at its battle rating, but still competitive, able to hang with the big dogs, using its mobility and fantastic fire rate, its good crew survivability, and its smokes to be competitive. Sorry, I'm repeating myself a little bit, aren't I? As Dr. Destruction launches his second volley of smokes, repositions, and is immediately identified by another enemy MPT who is hanging out in the open. Side of the turret takes a shot as Destruction looks around to see who hit him. Doesn't see the enemy, definitely being fired on from that rise over there, and a second or a third enemy, I should say, positioning themselves behind that clump of rocks. Not sure who hit him in the side of the turret. I don't think that was a helicopter, but maybe the kill feed told us that that enemy was destroyed. Missiles being fired from that location, probably the ATGMs out of a cannon barrel. So, look at that beautiful reload rate, even out of an Abrams that has taken a few hits. That 5-second reload is just incredible for a manually loaded crew. For the powerful gun available on the Abrams, that makes a big difference in keeping this tank relevant, even in a time when it might not have the best protection, the hardest hitting gun. Sometimes quantity is a quality all its own, and with a great ability to reposition and cover its advance or retreat, screen itself off with smoke in a crippled state, and do just about everything you'd want out of an MBT. Once again, the Abrams might not have the stats on paper against other tanks that it can face, but in the hands of a skilled player that has a good feel for how to make the most out of the Swiss Army knife toolkit available in this American MBT, even in its least impressive state, as we see it in the game. Clearly a minimalization of a general idea of what the Abrams could actually do. Still a very competitive and very effective tank in War Thunder, once again, in the hands of a skilled and experienced player who has taken the time to get a feel for how to make this thing sing. Dr. Destruction is going to get, I think, 7 kills in this battle, and he's already racked up a few. Checking out the damage on the vehicle, he has lost a crew member or two, but with the number of hits he's been able to soak here, and that just speaks to the survivability of this MBT. Just enough armor to protect itself from the really devastating post-penetration effect rounds, and with enough space to give you a bit of survivability against the lawn darts that are so common at this battle rating. Dr. Destruction once again repositioning this a fantastic strategy in the Abrams, using your map awareness and playing that War Thunder chess like I talk about in another video. You can continually find yourself taking down lightly skinned enemy vehicles, absolutely, and also getting those side and rear shots on unsuspecting enemies that are so useful. There are lanes of approach that are commonly used even at top tier, just convenient places for people to push up, and if you set yourself up in one ambush position, get a kill or two, depending upon what's available, and then reposition stealthily to another good location, you can find yourself reaping the benefits as you see Dr. Destruction doing in this match, and he didn't play a perfect match. There was one time where there was an enemy tank spotted for a while, and I was like, when's he going to notice him? And it took him a while to notice. Here also, Destruction set up right out in the open, just challenging the enemy to notice him and try and take him down. All that talk about positioning and being stealthy now traded for a different strategy. This, the late game of the match, top tier matches traveling so quickly. It is a good time to be aggressive. He's setting himself up for maximum field of fire here as we hear what must be allied missile anti-aircraft firing round after round of missiles in the area. As you see, enemy missiles streaking through the air. The loader now taken down by a shot from an enemy MBT that, well, had a pretty clear shot on Dr. Destruction, set up here on top the rock. He gambled and he paid. The enemy not popping out to finish him off, the gun still operational, and Destruction ready to rain his namesake down upon the enemy, any who challenge him to try and push him off his boulder. He is King Bullfrog, and anyone that tries to push him off this rock is going to find out how slippery their own perch is. At least, that's the plan. Very suspicious of that rock outcropping, spending a lot of time in the zoomed-in gunner view, which can be a bit hazardous to one's health, but as someone who doesn't have the highest resolution monitor and doesn't even sit up close to the screen in the myopia zone, I can relate to the need to zoom in to see what's going on the battlefield, checking another enemy tank that's been destroyed and continues to burn. Gaijin, what is the consistency here? Like, what makes a tank just keep burning compared with one that doesn't? Maybe when you destroy them via ammo rack, I don't know. But it is a nice image, for sure. And that is the end of the match. A nice 7 kills by Dr. Destruction, and a good look at a classic tank. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Before I finish this off, I would like to remind you all that AmFam, my squadron, is recruiting, and there's a link to the Discord for the YouTube channel in the description of this video. Hit that show more button and come check us out. That is the best place to get in touch with me, and I look forward to featuring more replays, so definitely feel free to send those in. Okay, catch you next time.